Hi guys, I'm Sam, the Far Middle-Aged Man. Okay, so Keen have just released this image in preparation for their new updates, a bit of a teaser thing. We're going to pull it apart and try and find out all the new things that they've got coming our way. There's a lot here. It doesn't seem like it at first glance, but there is a lot to unpack. So let's get cracking. Okay, so as mentioned earlier today, or probably yesterday by the time this video comes out, Keen have released their teaser pic for the upcoming live stream, which is on Thursday. Okay, there's a lot to unpack with this picture. They're showing off some tasty looking new blocks, what looks to be a new texture, and hopefully some fixes to blocks introduced in previous updates. Some of this was actually alluded to in Marek Ross's previous blog post, where he talks about the rounded windows, the T-shaped conveyor blocks, and a whole host of other different topics. One key takeaway here is he mentions this update is completely free, which is absolutely incredible. They've had a lot of stick over the years for one reason or another, but you've really got to appreciate how much love and passion they've put into this game. Okay, let's get cracking. So obviously the first thing that jumped out to me was this new texture here. Sort of a corrugated steel look, or like a panelled armour. It won't be everyone's cup of tea, but I think it will help break up some of the monotony if it's used correctly, just like they've done with this image. I do like the little battered look they've got going on. Okay, if we head further down here, I'm going to move quite quickly because there is a lot to cover, but I don't want this video to drag on too long. Next thing we've got here is these, what looks like reinforced conveyor block sets. We've got some nice looking armour struts here, surrounding the standard conveyor pieces, as we can see there, and also over here we can see there's a new T junction, which to me that looks so much better than the old standard conveyor piece. And also if we look over here, there's also a small grid variant with the same armor struts around the outside, so that's going to make for some really interesting ship designs. So just next to this you see these railings here. You'll notice that this railing, half railing if you will, that's connected to this building, and this wall covers the whole section, which means that this railing is actually a center block. Like this wall here looks like it's a half wall, so if this was a full wide block, this block would be in the middle, which is quite interesting. And also if you come across over here, we've got another piece here. Now if you look at it could be the angling of this, but this looks like, if that's a half block, this block here is a 2x1x1 base, so bringing it into your standard block formation, but there's a railing here that actually covers that block perfectly. So this is another new railing. Yeah, I've been looking forward to these new railing pieces for a long time. They've been a long time coming, so hopefully they're finally here. So further down from the railing pieces here, we have this new passageway block. A few people have said that it looks like it has a ladder attached, and if we look at the engineer standing on this grating, it does seem like there's an opening for the ladder to fit in there. Now the question is this a grated catwalk with a hole in for the ladder, or is this grate part of this block and the railings are tacked on top, if you know what I mean? Looking down here, I can kind of see a bit of the railing. It's just the Keen Software logo's a bit in the way, and you can't get down far enough to see what this one's like. But if that's a bit of a grated piece, I'm assuming this is as well, so that's just a standard end railing there. But I suppose we'll find out on Thursday. Okay, so if we come across here, we get to a whole host of new interesting blocks. Let's start with this one over here. Obviously we've got a little plushy friend, which I'll come on to later on. But these two things here look like they're just the back and the front of the same block. So this looks like a 3x3x1 conveyor converter piece, which takes you from a large conveyor port to a small one. Plus you've got these ones on the sides here, so you can really start to shrink down your build here. You'll no longer need to use like an O2 H2 generator or a connector to try and get that converted piece. is already giving me some crazy new ideas. Another thing we've got here was, it looks like another version of the armored conveyor, because you can see the conveyor ports there. And these look like a different variant of these. So, who knows? Maybe there's a large grid version of these blocks as well. Maybe these are like heavy armor variants of the conveyor block. You know, you got the light armor and the heavy armor. Maybe this is the same thing applies to conveyors now. That could be interesting. Alright, here we go. So another thing here, you'll notice there is a advanced rotor. A small grid, small advanced rotor. So we no longer have to deal with the huge but lovable monster we have at the moment. We can actually do it really tiny, which means you can build some interesting custom turrets with those, I would imagine. Yep, so next here we have a bunch of new armor block pieces. You've really got to give props here to the people who have to keep coming up with every possible geometric piece that we have. Those guys have a rough time. But more blocks, more pieces. I think there's actually also, if we scroll up here, I think there's actually examples of some of these in use on this ship, which is quite cool. Okay, now for the elephant in the room. We've got this big cargo block looking piece here. So this could be quite interesting. Is it a new block? Does it have like an internal walkable area? You know, like the new refinery and assembler? Or is it simply just armor panels with the painted textures made to look like a cargo box? These actually look like, you know, the neon corner pieces, if they're like unwelded and painted in rust color? That's what they kind of look like. But I don't know, we'll see. We'll find out on Thursday, I guess. Okay, just at the very bottom here, you can probably just about see it. You've got this half-block grated catwalk with railings. Now, that's different to what we had up here. These are just railings. There's nothing wrong with that. These are grated catwalks with railings. So if they've added a bunch of these railing pieces and a bunch of these, that's going to make for some really, really interesting builds. I mean, there's so many of these pieces that we've been waiting for such a long time, and they're finally starting to come into the game. They're just beautiful. That's all I can say about those, really. Okay, just above the catwalk, just behind here, you can probably just about make it out behind the purple box. We have this kind of like a display case. It's filled with these plushy doll things. I don't know if we're getting the plushies in game, or if that's like a bit of just an Easter egg or whatever. I don't even know if this is an actual display case, because if you look here, you've got your landing gear. This could easily just be a 1x1 armor block with some glass, and then a half block on top, and then, I don't know, maybe like a control panel or something. I don't know. No, because control panel would be a full block, wouldn't it? I don't know. But interesting nonetheless. Anyway, just in front of that, you've actually got your window pieces. I think these are windows that have been made into like the shape of a bowl. And I think if you look inside, there's actually a plushie inside the bowl as well, which is kind of cool. But just in front of that, you've got more curved window pieces. Now, you can obviously tack these together, make a nice long curved window. So it's good to see they've got a few different variants in there and showing them off. Yeah, I can't wait to see what everyone comes up with these new curved glass pieces. They are really cool looking. Now, let's move up a bit. Just outside of this purple box, we can see that there is a rover here with some small grid neons, which we haven't had these before. These are new. Like, if you wanted neons before, you had to go large grid. But in addition to the new neons, we've also got a new neon block, this little circular connector piece, which is amazing. Like, you've not been able, if you had a neon strip thing going on before, you had to sort of have one row. You couldn't connect them together properly, which was a bit meh, you know. So this will be nice to finish off that block, and you can start to see you can make some really cool designs with it. We've also got a similar thing over here, but in large grid. So if you look up here, we can see we've got the large grid neons going into another circular component. This is beautiful. I absolutely love this. This is going on every single one of my ships. buildings, whatever. Okay, so just over here, behind the Neon Rover, we have another example of the new T-shaped conveyor block. So this time it's just the standard one that's unarmored. Okay, so that's looking nice. It's good to see they've put a few different variants of it in. Okay, just above that we have yet more examples of these new curved windows. Now you can see here we've got a full piece and we've got some armored pieces. So like these are like the half windows we've got at the minute with the armor on the lower bit and then the glass. And then a mirrored version of it there as well. So these are quite cool. It looks like they've got like a walkway inside. Just armor blocks perhaps. Because they've got ladders running across the top as well. So, but yeah, the windows themselves look really, really cool. I especially like this bit here. Because you can see here this corner connector piece. So this is obviously like a horizontal connector, and then this comes out, and then at a 90-degree angle you've got this window coming off the side. So that's going to make for some really nice observatory type builds, which at the minute you can do, but it's a bit faffy. It doesn't look as nice as this looks. This looks absolutely stunning, especially because you can see all the interior and whatever. Like this is looking a lot more like some of the stuff you see in No Man's Sky or some other modular building games, which is really nice. I like how they've done that. Now, if we head further up here, specifically here, you'll see there's a new block here. We have the half-armoured windows. We've had those in for a while now. But now we have what looks like a 45-degree version of it. Because that looks like it's angled. So this is square off, then you got a 45-degree slope, and then square off again. So I'm sure that's new. I could be wrong there. Let me know in the comments below. Okay, just above the window, we can see here that we finally got in the correct orientation of these pieces here so that these all match up nicely. Because before, I think this triangular piece here was like, you couldn't get it into this orientation. It was either here or here. I can't remember which way around it was, but it wasn't working one way. But as well, if you look further up, we've got some more of these blocks here. I think this is the same block there. But we've got this grated catwalk version, if you will. That's kind of interesting. So I wonder if they've added in some more of these alongside this. It doesn't look like it would be airtight, but it looks a little more interesting. It makes it stand out a bit more. It looks like a proper vent. You could do some quite cool things with that. Okay, now last thing here, just looking down, you've got this pipe coming out, and we have, oh look again, another T-shaped conveyor, but on this time it's on the rounded conveyor blocks, which is nice. So that looks like we've got all the different variations of it. Now, if we've got this T-junction here, I'm wondering, have we got maybe not in this update, but in the future one, maybe an armored version of the round conveyor junctions? That'd be interesting. Even one like this with the round conveyors inside would be quite nice. I mean, this looks beautiful, but having that as well, just for the extra completeness, would also be nice. So, tell me, did you spot anything in this image that I haven't covered? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, because it really helps me out. It's been nice to actually look at some of this and give my opinions on it. It's a bit different from the kind of video I usually do. Yeah, they've really pushed the boat out here with some of these new blocks. I'm absolutely certain that there's more that I've missed here as well. Thank you to Keen for all the hard work you guys have been doing. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the chat during the stream. I'll probably push out another video once the update drops, and I'll share my thoughts on the new goodies we've got. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of that. All that's really left to say is thank you for watching so far. Keep on being awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.